What's up, guys? This is Braden Break, and today I have Connor Finton's KC Regionals winning deck profile with you. This is the deck that he took to KC Regionals and won the whole thing with. I'm going to go over it now for you guys. He runs 3 Shaman EX, 1 Gallade, 4 Night Marchers, 4 of each of the Night Marchers, and then 1 Mew. So it's your basic Night March Gallade variant and expanded. Basically what makes it expanded, well, doesn't really make it expanded. What it has from expanded, the only thing that's really straight from expanded is Life Dew. Life Dew, if you don't know what it does, is basically if your Pokemon has Life Dew attached to it and it's knocked out, they take 1 less prize card for it. So in a deck like Night March, where almost all of them are non-EX Pokemon, if they knock out a Night Marcher, they take no prize cards. And if they take out a Shaman EX and for some reason you have a Life Dew attached to it, they would only take 1 prize card. Then the only other changes from standard to expanded format that this deck has is Professor Juniper, which is the same thing as Sycamore, and a Tool Scrapper, which is a Megaphone, pretty much. But we'll go over the rest of the deck for you now, right here. He ran 3 Acrobike. If you don't know what Acrobike does, look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put 1 of them into your hand, discard the other card. Good way to thin out your deck, find what you need, grab what you don't, or grab what you need and get rid of what you don't. 4 Battle Compressors, so you can compress out Night Marchers and supporters that you might need later on in the game too. 4 Puzzles of Time, which you'll see later on in the interview, actually helped out Connor a lot against a Vespiquen Flareon deck, and is just a really good card in general. Puzzle of Time lets you, if you play just 1 of them, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and rearrange them in any order, so that way you draw into what you want out of the 3 cards that you have. Or if you play 2, you can pick 2 cards from your discard pile and put them back into your hand, which is very useful, especially in this deck. 1 Tool Scrapper, choose up to 2 Pokemon tool cards attached to Pokemon in play and discard them. 1 Tau Map, so you can see what your prize cards are. Really helpful, grabbing what you need and seeing what you don't have. 4 Trainer's Mails for consistency. 4 Ultra Balls, so you can grab what you need and get rid of stuff. It helps with the Maxis, because he does run the Maxis variant, which was very helpful and a good amount of matchups for him. 4 VS Seekers, so you can pick up supporters that you need, like Maxis or Hex or Lysander and anything you might need, teammates, because there are a few supporters in this deck. He runs 1 Hex, so you can get rid of abilities when you need to, 1 Lysander, 1 Maxis to pick up Gallade, 1 N, 2 Juniper, 1 teammates, and then he runs 3 Dimension Valley. Each of your Psychic Pokemon's attack cost 1 colorless less. 2 Fighting Fury Belts, so it gives your basic Pokemon 40 plus HP and 10 more damage. 1 Float Stone for free retreat, 1 Life Dew, and 4 double colorless energy. So as you can see, it's Night March. It's there. It's a really good deck. We'll get straight into the interview. Hope you guys enjoy. What's up, guys? This is Braden Break, and I have a special interview for you today. Today we're going to be talking to Connor Finton, who won Kansas City Regionals not too long ago. So how you doing, Connor?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Thank you for agreeing to do this. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you doing this for us, for the channel. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 19. I'm from the Atlanta, Georgia area. I just finished my sophomore year of college. I'm a music education major at Kennesaw State University. Other than that, I don't really do too much. I play Pokemon cards a lot.
So what got you into Pokemon then?
I was just I used to play the Pokemon like singles, like Smoggin, a long time ago, and one of the YouTubers that I used to watch for that uploaded some TCGO videos. I'm like, oh, that looks cool. And so I downloaded the client and played it. Actually, I don't even think it was a download at that point. It was browser based, but I played a whole bunch of games, and I was like, oh, this is fun. And so I went out and I bought a couple theme decks and played that for a while. And then a big part of me was just I bought packs. I bought a lot of packs for a while, and I watched like pack opening videos, and I saw that there was a pre-release like 10 minutes from my house. I'm like, oh, I want to go to that. So I went there and I found out that there was a league there, and then started going to the league and found out about tournaments, and it just kind of expanded from there.
Mm-hmm. So you started like kind of collecting first, and then like it kind of went from there.
I mean, I always played with them, but it was more collecting first.
All right, yeah. That's about the same way I was. So tell us what deck you ran at regionals. You ran Night March, right?
Yeah, I ran Night March with one Maxi, one Gallade.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about the deck and how you decided to build it. Sort of just basics.
A big part of the deck was most of my team, which is Team Monstars, which is an Atlanta-based team. Most of us have been playing Night March for a lot of the year, except for me. I didn't play Night March at a tournament until the Thursday before that weekend. There was a league challenge, and I brought Night March in Standard, and my list was super bad. But Friday night, I went and talked to one of my teammates, Ahmed Ali, and we're in the hotel and talking, and I'm like, my list is trash, help. And so I talked to him, and he's good friends with another one of my teammates, James Miller, who won Alabama States with a Night March deck kind of similar to what I ended up playing, except for without the Gallade. And we talked it over, and I didn't have the acrobikes in beforehand, but I put the acrobikes in and made a couple other small changes. Like the Life Dew was a last-minute thing on Friday night, and we kind of just finalized the list there. And so a big part of it was the help from them.
Yeah. So tell us why you kind of... Well, you said earlier that you hadn't been running Night March until like just recently. Why'd you change to Night March?
At Georgia Regionals, I played a Mega Rayquaza deck that I've had a lot of experience with, and like I won North and South Carolina States with the Mega Rayquaza deck, and so I was feeling real confident about that. And then I went into Georgia Regionals and got trashed by like a bunch of Night March. And the more I thought about it, I really liked its matchups. And the one thing that I was kind of worried about going in Kansas was Trevenant. But I had seen that Trevenant had done really well week 2 of regionals. It won Georgia. It got second, I believe, at Wisconsin, or no, something like that. It got top 4. There were a lot. It was real big, and
I think it was Wisconsin. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was looking at it, and I was like, okay, a lot of people are gonna play Trevenant, but I think a lot of people are gonna counter Trevenant, and the biggest counter to Trevenant was Dark. And I felt real confident about the looking at the matchups. I thought the Night March against Dark seemed like at least a decently favorable matchup, or at least one it can win most of the time. And over the course of the tournament, I played 5 Dark decks, and I beat all of them. So
you kind of just called that right. Well, tell us about the matchups against the Dark decks. How did they go? Like, sort of.
The dark matchup is usually pretty favorable. I mean, there's 2 main variants. There's the Speed Dark that plays the Max Elixirs and the Dark plus Darkrai, and then there's like the Maxi Voltol versions. There's some weird things with both of them. Like the Speed Dark, they play 2 of the Night Spear Darkrai, and that guy is a pain because he can snipe your Joltix for knockouts, and then he's resistant to both Pumpkaboo and Mew. And so there's some weird things, like the matchup can be a little bit less favorable than you'd think. Gallade is super big in that matchup. If you get Gallade out, like the matchup is way more favorable than it is without Gallade. But yeah, there's some weird things with that. Usually I think it's maybe slightly favorable for Night March, but that one's still pretty close. And then the Maxi Voltol is usually pretty favorable for most of the matchup, but there's some weird things that can happen, like Turn 1 Getsis is super bad. They've been playing more like Paralicities and Silent Labs, so like late game and Silent Lab is hard. So you just have to figure out how to thin your deck out and get to the point. There's another thing, like I said with Speed Dark, Gallade's really important. If you can get Gallade out, they can't really just start taking knockouts with Darkrai and tanking with it, because with a Fighting Fury Belt, it's impossible to knock it out with a Pumpkaboo, and with a Joltik you need all of your Night Marches in the discard pile.
So, what else did you face other than Dark? What were your other matchups like?
I played against, round 1, I played against a local. He was just playing Fire and Camera Up, so there wasn't much resistance there. And then I played against Rainbow Road round 3, and in game 1 of that, I went first, started to get set up a little bit, and he started Jolteon EX, and went, he flipped heads on Rebirth, Energy switched the Lightning, attached DCE, AZ his Ho-Oh, and I prized Gallade. So I had nothing I could possibly do there. It's just you just pick up your cards and go to game 2. But after that, Like, I got Gallade out games 2 and 3, and so Jolteon wasn't really an issue. And then the only other decks I played against Alex Hill round 5, who I beat in finals, but I lost to him really bad in Swiss. And like game 1, I was thinking, oh, this is Night March, and I'm like, in standard, I know Night March goes second, so I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I won the coin flip, I'll go second, and I got Getsist.
Oh,
and I was like,
that
oh,
sucks.
I shouldn't go second anymore.
Yeah.
But that was I lost. I think a lot of it was matchup experience. Like I said, I didn't play Night March until the day before the tournament, or the Thursday before the tournament. I never really played with the deck. Like I played a couple games testing here and there, but nothing real. And I hadn't played the mirror match ever before that set. So I think a lot of it was an experience. I think by the end of the tournament, I was able to at least figure out how to play the matchup. And then I played against round 6. I played against Franco Yamas, who was playing Archie Stoice. And there was a really interesting Archie Stoice variant at that tournament that didn't end up cutting, but 2 of them made top 16. And it was Archie Stoice with they played Jolteon EX and Glaceon EX and the Black Karen from Plasma Storm. So they played like 2 or 3 lightnings in there and added some attackers. And it was really interesting. I think Rithkey got 10th with it and Franco got 14th. So like they had a decent showing. But when I played against Franco, game 1 I hexed him and just never let him set up a Jolteon. Yeah. And then game 2, he started Shaman, and I started Joltik, and he went Draw Pass, going first. Yeah. I played a Battle Compressor and a DCE and just won. So. And then the rest of my matchups were all dark.
Yeah, well, that was pretty easy for you with those matchups. It's kind of funny about the Blastoise thing. In Standard, I've built this deck. It's like it's kind of like that. Obviously, you don't have the Blastoise, but I do that with Mega Manectric. I have that with
with the Glaceon, the Jolteon, all that stuff.
I really like how that deck works. So tell us about your Georgia Regionals experience real quick. Go ahead and talk to us about that. You said you ran Mega Rayquaza?
Yeah, I did. I ran Mega Rayquaza.
How'd that go?
Round 1, I played against a VG. It was real simple. You just win that matchup. Yeah. Round 2, I played against Jose Marrero, playing Rayquaza Mirror. And I won game 1. He won game 2. Game 2, I ended him to 2, and his 2 cards were Mega Rayquaza, so he just ended his turn. And then I had 2 prizes left, and he had an Execute active, and I couldn't kill anything else. So he's got no cards in hand, and I kill the Execute, and he sends up Rayquaza, top deck Jirachi EX for Colress for every card in his deck, and sets up his Mega Rayquaza. And then game 3, time is called on my first turn, and I play Getsist him down to 3 dead cards, and he's only got 1 Pokemon out, and then he top deck Ultra Ball to force the tie. Yeah. That was real frustrating. And then I played round 3, I ended up playing against Ryan Sablehouse, who was playing Night March, and got trashed. And then I played... what did I play? I don't know, something that I beat. And then I played against a Trevenant after that, and I beat them. And then I played against Jim Jones, who was playing Raikou Eels. And he had some crazy stuff happen with Thunder Waves. Like I think he hit like 4 or 5 heads in a row on Thunder Waves, and I was trying to play Hex every turn, so he couldn't just set up Raikous. But I couldn't stream Hex enough turns with him just Thunder Waving, and I'd prize Keldeo, and there was a bunch of just weird stuff. And then I played against the last round I ended up playing because I ended up dropping afterwards. I played against Austin Goen, who was playing Sableye Garbodor, and I won game 1. I just Getsist streamed like every turn. He couldn't do too much of anything. And then game 2, I prized Getsist, and the matchup was impossible. Like he just discards all my energy. I never drew the Getsist off the prize cards. And then game 3, turn 1, I Getsist him. He has an N. He plays the N. He gets a couple Pokemon down. I Getsist him again. Just about into nothing. He's got 3 Pokemon on board. I start taking knockouts, and time is called. And he's got 1 Pokemon left. He's got 1 more turn of time, and then I have 1 more turn of time, and he top decks Sycamore with no cards in hand. So as you can see, the theme of that tournament was last turn people top decking out of just game. And so we ended up tying, but then I ended up giving him the win because I didn't want to deal with... I couldn't have made cut at that point. And so I didn't get points unless I made top 16, so I just dropped from the tournament.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, makes sense. So you made day 2 at KC, and so tell us about how that went, how day 2 went, and how the finals went.
Yeah, well, KC didn't end up having like day 2 Swiss.
Oh, they did not? Okay.
No, we did not, but we did have a top 8.
Alright, so tell me how that went. My bad.
So in top 8, I played against Eric Gangsman, who was playing Vespiquen and Flareon, and the matchup, like, it was like, I think it's pretty favorable for Night March in that there's some weird things that would happen with Life Dew if I didn't play my own.
Yeah.
Like I could fall behind in the price trade, but since I played my own Life Dew, kind of counteracted. And actually, every time either of us played down a Life Dew, we both played Scrapper, so we discard it. But then because I've been playing Night March and play Puzzles of Time, I can get the Life Dew back. And so I was able to play Life Dew 3 times a game, but he could only use it once.
Dang.
And so he just was never able to be ahead in the prize trade.
Yeah.
In top 4, I played against Max Armitage, who was playing Veltal with Maxis and Galley and Archeops. And that was a really close set. I won game 1. There wasn't anything too interesting that happened. I mean, it was a long game, but I think he ended me a couple times and I was able to draw out of it.
Yeah.
But, game 2, I never got Gallied out game 2, and that makes the match a lot harder because I do believe he played 2 Darkrai EX, and so I had to extend pretty far to kill Darkrai, and then I ended up I had a Mew to attack with, and I took a knockout with Mew, but he Lysandered my Night Marcher on the bench, and I had prized a puzzle or had to discard a puzzle early, so I wasn't able to get it back, and so I had some weird hands where I could have gotten Gallied out at the end of the game to win. But he ended me, and my one card was VS Seeker. I needed to top deck a playable card, and I top decked Dimension Valley, and theirs already went out. Yeah. So I wasn't able to get Gallied out to take a knockout. And there was nothing that I could do at that point. And then game 3, I prized 4 Night Marchers.
Ooh.
But I got turn 1 Gallied, and then turn 2 Lysander Darkrai to knock out with Gallied. And then the next turn, he didn't have... The only thing he had to attack with was an Veltal EX. And I was able to get a Joltik with a DCE down to kill it. And then I still only had enough Night Marchers where I discarded all of them and was able to bench a Joltik and attach a Fighting Fury Belt and Lysander kill a Keldeo for game. So that one went pretty fast.
Yeah.
And then in finals, I played against Alex Hill again, who was playing Night March. And game 1 I went first, but my hand was kind of, like, it wasn't great. And I hexed him, but he was still able to draw out of it. And I had to play down more Shamans than he did that game, and he was able to win. Game 2, I got ahead in the prize trade a little bit. I think I killed a Shaman and I didn't have to bench any Shamans that game. And there was a point towards the end of the game, like he'd end, and we'd done some weird stuff. And at the end of the game, I had a Dimension Valley and played Dimension Valley in my discard pile, and he thought I only played 2 Dimension Valley, so he countered my Dimension Valley with a Parallel City. Thinking that he'd won the game by I only had Pumpkaboos left and no Joltiks, no puzzles left. Yeah. But I had another Dimension Valley in my hand and was able to play it down. And then that game I had there was a point I acrobiked into my last 2 DCEs and just had thought, oh, I lost the tournament. But he had to attack with the Joltik, and I was able to kill the Shaman Sky Return a little bit earlier, so that saved me. And then game 3, he went for the turn 1 Getsus going first, and I had two item cards in my hand. And he ended up not having another supporter for the rest of the game. He didn't have, in his discard pile at least, he didn't have another supporter. And so my turn 1, I dug super deep to try to get just a DCE so I could kill his active, and I whiffed the DCE and just had to pass. But he had his hand really didn't have much either. Like he played a Pokemon catcher and brought up my Shaman EX. And he played on his own Shaman and drew some cards, and then just didn't have anything. Ended up Lysandering my Joltik with a Fighting Fury Belt and hitting it for 40 that turn. So he didn't do really anything. Yeah. And then I had I top decked the DCE, and I was able to take the knockout. He Sky Return killed me, but at that point his hand was so full of, he had a bunch of Night Marchers and a bunch of his tech cards. He played an Escape Rope, and he played a Target Whistle, and he played 2 Catchers and 2 Lysanders. And all of those cards were clogging up his hand. Yeah. And I was just able to stream Life Dew so he couldn't take prize cards and get extra cards. And that game wasn't really close.
Yeah. So then you took it all right there.
Yeah.
So have you gotten your Worlds invite yet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Congrats. Well, and then congrats on your first place there. So you said you've ran Mega Roy Quiz at Georgia Regionals, and you ran Night March at the Kansas City Regionals. So like, what do you see for like these decks, like their potential for future events? And like, there's like a few more regionals left, and there's Nats and Worlds. What obviously Night March is like one of the best decks in the format right now.
Yeah, I think Night March is a solid play for both.
Yeah.
For Worlds, we don't know exactly what the format's going to be like because we don't know what's in the new set completely.
Steam Siege, yeah. So what do you think you might do, or what changes do you think you might make to this deck if you would play it again at Nats or Worlds?
Yeah, I'm definitely considering Night March for Nationals. If I do play it, like the one card that I wanted was a Target Whistle that I didn't end up playing because in the mirror match it's so important.
Yeah, it really is.
And there's not much. I felt like in for my deck, there wasn't much I could do in the mirror match to like disrupt them. Like Alex was playing Pokemon Catchers and Target Whistle, and Getsis and all these other cards, and I played the Maxi stuff instead, which I felt was better in other matchups. But in the mirror match, the Target Whistle and the Catchers and all that was way better.
How many times did you run into the mirror match though?
Just him. So once. It was okay. Yeah. The Gallade, I wouldn't have taken the Gallade out. I don't think I'd play the deck without the Gallade. Like Premonition is such a good ability, and with like Premonition and Town Map, it's almost like a teammates every turn. It's like I get to pick on a top deck and I get to take this card off my prizes that I want. And so that was real nice combo. And then. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'd change. That's the only thing I think I'd change in the deck would be the Target Whistle. And like obviously in Standard right now, I couldn't play the Life Dew, but that was the only card that really didn't just directly have a change. Yeah. Like I played Junipers, but that doesn't matter. And I played Tool Scrapper instead of starting a Megaphone. But again, that's just something that doesn't really matter. So the only card that really had to be dropped was the Life Dew. And I think at Nationals, I think Marowak's a really good call. I think that there's gonna be a lot of Toad, or at least more Toad than we've seen recently. Like a lot of the Turbo Water decks are springing up. Yeah. I think the matchup's really unfavorable for Night March if it doesn't play the Marowak. But if you get Marowak out, the matchup's a lot better.
So was there anything else you wanted to talk about your experience at regionals, just how it went or anything like that?
Not that I can think of.
Well, that's really all I had for you. Thank you a lot for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
If you guys have any questions for Connor or for me, I don't know why you would have a question for me, but if you had a question for Connor, leave it down in the comments down below, and I'll make sure it gets to him one way or another, and I'll try to get an answer back to you. If you guys enjoyed this interview and this series, please leave a like. It does help support the channel, and I do appreciate it. So thank you, Connor, for doing this once again, and congratulations on first place. This has been Braden Break, guys.